Hi guys, Ben here. UK dropshipping. Is it worth giving it a go? I would answer yes, and I've made a success out of dropshipping in the UK. But I understand why some people may be put off by the idea of it. You hear a lot about dropshipping in the US. They've got a lot more people, potential buyers. They've got a lot more suppliers and manufacturers just because of the size of the country and the population. But some people think that it's not possible in the UK. I made over 500,000 in revenue dropshipping in the UK. So I just wanted to make a quick video and discuss the reasons why I think dropshipping in the UK is a good idea and why, in ways, it's even better. So you see lots of videos online about people dropshipping in the US. You may even see people from other countries like the UK or anywhere in Europe, and they do drop shipping, but in the US. But it's a lot more hassle when it's easier to do it in the UK, in your own country. That is if you're UK based. And the reason why I think in ways it's better than the US is we're such a small country, but we have so many people in that very small landmass. So if you think about the amount of people we have in the UK, all potential buyers, and we have so many manufacturers and suppliers. It's so easy to get an order for something and just have it delivered to your customer, in a day or two, maybe 3 or 4 days. It's just easier in that way, and it may have taken the UK a bit more time to catch up with dropshipping. When I started dropshipping back in 2019, I think it was, I used to have chats with the account managers for these suppliers and manufacturers. And they didn't even know what dropshipping was. So I'd have to explain the concept of, somebody buys from me, but I'm not holding the stock. You guys hold the stock in your massive warehouses. I'll have my courier come and pick it up and deliver it to my customer. And sometimes I had to sort of win them round and, we'll have a little a demo of it. We'll give it a few months and see how it goes. And obviously I started getting a lot of sales, and then they were very happy for it to be like that. And other suppliers, they were already on board, and they had an online portal where I could just log in and put an order in and put my customer's delivery address. So that was 2019 though. Now, from what I've seen, all suppliers and manufacturers, if they're willing to do drop shipping, because not all of them are. So there is a process to finding out if suppliers and manufacturers do drop shipping, but the ones that are, and a lot of them are used to it now, then it's quite easy to get that set up. The harder bit is being accepted and having your trade account accepted by them. There are ways to do this. My biggest advice is to get on the phone. You'll usually go through to reception, but you want to speak to an account manager, your local account manager for your region. And if possible, meet them in person. I've done this a few times, and honestly, it's so powerful meeting somebody in person. I'll buy them a coffee at my local cafe, and we'll discuss the business, like what my business is all about, and the sort of products I want to sell, and my ethos behind it, and how important customer service is, that sort of thing. And I'd win them over. And it was that sort of thing that had me and my trade account with their business accepted over, somebody who can't even be bothered or too scared to phone them up. They just send emails. A lot of the time they just ignore them. They've told me that as well. So that would be my biggest tip. At the very minimum, you want to be speaking to somebody, a decision maker on the phone. But if possible, speak to them in person. You could even drive to them if they're not too far away from you. So when people think about drop shipping, they think of it, I tend to find, if they don't know about the way I do things, they think of it as a bit dodgy, a bit scammy. You just buy some tax from China that takes a few weeks to get to your customers, and there's no margins in it, because you've got loads of other people who they just see how to do it, because it's really easy. Just go to AliExpress, right, and just buy products from there. So you've got loads of competition, margins are razor thin, there's no money in it. Customers get annoyed because they're dealing with delivery times of a week or two, however long it takes. Much easier just to work with your suppliers and manufacturers in your own country. Simple as that. And the rule of thumb that I suggest is to have a product range that's in a niche that you've researched and you've determined to be a good niche to dropship. You want it to be at least £500 or $500, and that can go up to 2,000-3,000, even more. The product that I sold that was the most expensive was £5,000, believe it or not. That wasn't a common occurrence. My most sold product was £1,675. But I did have some really expensive products, and it took me a couple of phone calls with the customer, give them information they wanted, and they were looking at a competitor as well. I just went the extra mile for them. That's a great thing about being a small, nimble e-commerce business is, you're competing with bricks and mortar stores sometimes, and they have their advantages, but you have yours. And that is, you can just be very focused on just a few customers who you're speaking to at that time. You can spend a lot of time trying to get that sale. And that's what I did. I just really helped them. A couple of phone calls. After the second phone call, put the phone down. 5 minutes later, cha-ching on Spotify, I've made £5,000 in revenue. Profit margins were really good for that supplier as well. I think they're about 40%. So that's a mad amount of money, isn't it? Just for one sale. But as a rule of thumb, even if you're selling products that are £500, if you're making 30% profit, let's say, I tend to see between 20 and 40% profit margins, depending on the supplier and what type of supplier they are. Let's say, just to keep things easy, 30%. If you're making 30% on £500, that's a nice amount of profit. You only need to make 1 or even 2 sales a day, and you've got a nice steady income coming in, and you don't have to do that much work. I set up my store to be semi-automated. It took a bit of time to get to that point, but once I'd locked everything in, I knew exactly how I was doing, what was working on my store. I just doubled down on what was working, semi-automated it. I'd get an order in, and it would create an email that went automatically to my supplier. So I'm not even having to contact my supplier. So I'd be on holiday somewhere, I'd get a cha-ching noise, and then I could see in my emails that an email had been sent to the supplier ordering the product. All I had to do was, when the supplier said, yeah, that order's ready for you, I would organise a courier. This is for my supplier who I sold the most products with. They didn't organise the courier for the bigger products, because I'm not going to go into what the niche was, because I know people will just copy me, but quite big products, and they had to be collected by a courier who was happy to work with these big products. I had a few that I knew. The only thing I was doing was I was just sending them an email, and that was half automated already. I just had to change a few things and then send that out. Another advantage over dropshipping in the UK or your own country compared to the US is there's just less competition. The US is just massive, and there's so many people from not only the US but all around the world who have chosen the US, and understandably so, as their market where they want to sell their products, via dropshipping. Dropshipping is, it's getting more and more competitive as time goes on in the UK, but it's nowhere near what it's like in the US. So that just means, the sooner you get in the UK, the better, and that's something I help people with. I've worked with quite a few clients now, and I've taught them how to dropship in the UK as well as the US, but a lot of my clients have been UK based. There are nuances to it, and how you dropship in the UK is a bit different to the US. One thing that's different is in the US you have something called MAP, and that pretty much means that everybody has to sell at the same price that the supplier or manufacturer put out. We don't have that in the UK because it's actually illegal, but there are lots of ways around that. And there are just benefits to dropshipping in the UK that I've found. So 3 main objections that I hear to dropshipping in the UK. I'll go over them real quick and give you an answer for them. Isn't the UK too small for dropshipping? Already gone over that? No. There's over, what is it, like 65 million people in the UK? So many people to sell to. And compared to the US, okay, we're relatively small, but we've got a pretty big economy. There's just so many sales going on every day. And all you need to do is take a small slice of the pie. Imagine a pie being a certain niche. There's loads of sales going on in that niche every day. All you need to do is cut out, 1 or 2 sales a day. That's it. You've got a nice, profitable business. Are there even suppliers in the UK? Again, I've discussed this, but yes, there's tens of thousands, thousands upon thousands upon thousands. People think that because we've lost quite a bit of our manufacturing over the years that we don't have suppliers and manufacturers. We do. We have loads. We're just not the country that's manufacturing everything for the world like we were back in the Victorian days. But we still have manufacturers and suppliers. The trick is finding them, because they're not always easy to find. They're not just on AliExpress, or you don't just type in UK suppliers. There's a bit more nuance to it than that. But there are loads out there. Again, as I said, the hardest part is having them accept you, your trade account application. But, I've shown a load of my clients how to do that. There's loads of ways to get around it. Another objection is, isn't it expensive to start? No, it's not. I guess it depends what you determine to be as expensive, but I couldn't have put more than £500 into the startup for me, which I don't think is a crazy amount of money considering the amount of money you can make in the future. And that cost that money, that £500, that goes into your Shopify subscription, that will go into maybe paying somebody to make you a little logo, maybe a subscription to an app or two on your Shopify store, buying a domain. They're all quite small amounts of money. The biggest amount of money that you'll put up front, maybe £200 or £300 is what I tend to suggest is for Google Ads. And that's because you can't rely on SEO at the beginning, of course. You need to have people go onto Google Shopping and see your products. But if you've done all the research and the prep work before that point, you'll know that the products you've chosen are being purchased by other people. Right? I mean, I teach people how to work this out. But basically, you've seen that it works on other websites, other dropshipping websites. And so you're not reinventing the wheel. You're just putting those products in front of those people. And again, 1 or 2 sales per day. One of my students, old Johnny Boy, he's UK based. Hi John, if you're watching. Probably not bothering with my YouTube videos anymore, are you? But he made £1,800 in profit on his 4th month, maybe 5th month, 4th month. So he's doing really well. He's happy with that. He's just seeing the sales go up. And again, it takes a couple of months to do everything to get to that point. You've got to research, you've got to find your niche, you've got to contact suppliers, manufacturers, create a store, set up Google Shopping, all of that. It takes a bit of time. And you don't know 100% that it's going to work. Sometimes you have to change things or maybe pivot into another niche. It's not, I can do my best to get people to a certain point, but I don't know. I don't know everything. I can't guarantee 100% that you just do this and then you start making money, but I can use a lot of my knowledge and experience and get people to where they want to be. One of the biggest things you got to take into account, I think, when creating a successful dropshipping business is your outlook on what it is you're doing. Having the mentality of making a quick bit of money online is not going to help you. You've got to think about it as a proper, genuine online business. It's a business that you put the time in, you take time to grow, build reputation and brand and everything. But if you treat it that way, you put the time and effort in, there's no reason why you can't be making, a sale or two a day. I mean, you can even make more than that, but the reason why higher ticket dropshipping is so effective is because of that amount of profit you make on just one sale. So if you're happy just to make a sale or two a day and you can quit your day job and focus on this full time, then I think I'm the guy to help. So if you are interested in this sort of high ticket dropshipping and you would like to learn more about it, if you click on the link below, it takes you to a web page where I go into more detail about what it is I do and what high ticket dropshipping is all about. And you can learn a bit more detail as to what goes into it. And I also offer a half an hour free call where we can discuss anything you want to know about it, any sort of questions about how it works, or even if you've already started an online business and you've made some sales, or you're not at that point yet, but you've already started something, I can just give you some tips and pointers on where to go, where I think you are going wrong and where I would focus on. And, totally free. So the worst that can happen is you have a call and you get a bit of free advice, But as I said, click on the link below and I'm happy to have that call with you. Cheers.